Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Wendy. I'm an artist and I'm an author, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I usually work in watercolor or ink and watercolor or a lot of acrylic, but I don't usually use markers. So today I thought, you know what? I want to try something different. I want to sketch out kind of some preliminary ideas I have for some paintings. So I've got my sketchbook here and I have 168 watercolor markers that I'm going to be using. Now, a lot of these, I'll just quickly show you what I've got in here. There's a lot of grays for shading. There's a good amount of blues, lots of pinks and pinks, which is great for me. Not a lot of greens, but then you can kind of mix those. And just some odd colors like sand and cream and things like that. But I'm concentrating on doing a body of work or a series of florals because I'm planning to do a show coming up in the fall, and I want to get a whole lot of things because it has a high traffic at this show. So I'm just kind of planning some of the designs that I want to do. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to kind of randomly pick them, and this is called Peacock Green. This is going to be very sketchy, and that's kind of the point. And I'm going to take these out. I wonder if I should put them back. Yeah, I do. I think I will put them back in their little slot because when I first got it, it was total hodgepodge, and I thought, I can't work with that. You won't be able to find anything. So I actually sorted them into color groups, and I don't want to kind of mess that up. All right, let's try this one. So what I want here is a big sort of focal point rose. And then I want to do some shading for variation. And I'm using the broad point here because I want it to be kind of quick. That's a little more orange than I wanted. Let's see. Let's try vivid purple. I don't know about that. Let's try vivid reddish purple. Yeah, that's much more kind of what I was looking for. So I'm just going to go over these orange ones and try to kind of pink them up a little bit. I would call this almost a fluorescent, well, it is called fluorescent pink. No, it's called vivid reddish purple, but to me it looks more fluorescent. Okay, I also want to have some yellow flowers. So I've got a mellow yellow. I love these names, by the way. I think they're kind of fun. Let's do a couple of flowers in different colors. Something sort of spiky. And then, let me see, I have a scrap of paper here. Sometimes it's a good idea to try things before you. Okay, this one's called lemon yellow, and then there's one here called Canaria yellow, which is not yellow at all, it's green. But I like it. I'm going to keep it out. All right, so lemon yellow. Let's do something a little cute in that. Okay, now I don't know about you, but this looks almost the same as that. No, I guess it's a little bit different. Now, the thing about markers like this, they're not paint, they're ink. So they, I can't really cover something because they're basically transparent. Let me see. I want let's do some little flowers. I'm going to use the small tip for this. This one is called Rose Red. which is kind of a pinky orange, really. Do a little cluster of those. A couple more over here. Oh, I went a little bit awry. Maybe some up here too, to just kind of pull it together. And some down here. So with paint markers, you can actually paint over, like acrylic markers, and I do have some of those, but with these you can't. So let me see. I'm going to see what color this is. It's called mahogany, but that doesn't really tell me much. It does look kind of like mahogany, doesn't it? Let's see. Marigold. Let's see about marigold. My littlest granddaughter's name is Marigold, and she is absolutely delightful. Okay, how does that compare here? Let's see if we can. Oh, this is great. I like that. I think I would like it on its own. So let's do something that kind of droops down here. Maybe another one over here. And we'll put the greens in afterwards. Let's see, what is mellow yellow like? I like it. Let's just put a little of that in there. And then you know what, I want some blackish. And I had some like a small pail of these before I bought the big set, but I was on Temu one day and I found those ones on sale and I snapped them up. That is still wet, so it's actually running a little bit, which is just fine. That's kind of what I would like to see. And then, you know what? I'm going to put some of this burnt orange. Let's see what burnt orange looks like. That doesn't look like burnt orange. It looks like brown. But actually, I think it'll kind of work in here. Let me see if I can find something that might work. Since when does the flower have a gray center? It does not, but this is just art. This looks black to me, but I'm going to go with it anyway. All right, let's try the greens now. I don't have a lot of green colors, but let's see what this is. It's called dark green, and it is very dark. So I might use that one. What I want is kind of an olive green. Here we go. Deep olive green. Well, I don't know how olivey that is, but I guess it'll work. Try bronze green. That's more like it. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's put some big leaves. And I want this one to be bigger. And then I want some stems and stuff to come down in here. And then some leaves that kind of go with them. Wait, I'm going to put different leaves on that one. I'm going to go with this pale. It's called Pale Green Light. I don't think that's working very well. But what I do want to do while I'm thinking about it is outline these leaves, or these petals. Just outline them like this. Remember, this is a sketch, and one way to keep your sketching loose is just to do it really fast. And then you're sometimes surprised by what happens and what kind of effects that you get when you just kind of wing it. Like, for example, I like this where the white showed through. So maybe I'll put another line or two that's kind of like that, some white ones. Yeah, see, I like that. Makes it a little bit kind of sparkly almost. What is buttercup yellow like? Ooh, that's pretty. I'm tempted to use it. I'm just going to put some dots. So what this is basically is a composition study. It's like, does the composition work? I think I need to bring that color out somewhere else. So I'll put this back. I need to put another rose in here somewhere, which is a little bit hard to do now. But I think I'm going to get rid of this and just transpose it into something in the same color family as this bright pink. And in fact, I'm going to go over this a little bit so it's not quite as bright and kind of ties in with this other one. It's got kind of a lot of colors in it now. Now I can't really do anything to make that pinker because layers will just, the darker will always show through. With markers, alcohol or watercolor markers, these are things you have to think about. Is it going to work? Sometimes it doesn't. Now, what color do I want for my leaves? A bit of something around it, I think. I need to put more of this olive bronze or whatever it's called. That pulls it together a little bit more. All right, let's do some stems here. I could take them down a little farther. Just a little bit more detail. And then I need water. Pale baby blue looks like. You can tell that I haven't used these a lot. So I'm just putting some water in here. And let's put it on a chestnut brown base or a walnut base. So this is the table. And you should be able to see it a little bit through the water because it's glass, right? However, it's too dark for that, so I know that's not very convincing, but... And then for a background wall, now one thing about this kind of marker is that it's not very painterly. It doesn't matter what you do, it's going to look like a marker. But you can do amazing things with them. And the way to find out is just to get out your sketchbook and try everything. So today is a hot day, one of the hottest we've had apparently, or are going to have this week, which is great for what we have upcoming this week, my husband and I. It's our, I think, maybe 6th annual Grandpa's Holiday Camp. I don't know how we got that name, but I call it Holiday Camp. He calls it something else, and my daughter calls it Summer Camp. And it's a staycation at our house for my daughter and her 3 children. So we just take the time off and we have a blast and we just play all day. And sometimes the kids just want to play on the floor because our house is bigger than their house and it feels like everything's roomy. So, and I have a toy box, and I think they're kind of tired of my toys, to be honest, but they often bring their own favorite things. And then we just play. But we live about 10 minutes from a big lake. So I don't have a lot of plans, although I think my daughter kind of wants me to have plans. We kind of make it up as we go along. But I think maybe I'll suggest we have a picnic at the lake, at the beach. Even though she said she didn't really want to go to the beach because the sand is so messy when you've got a 2-year-old and stuff like that. However, we can go to the other beach, which doesn't have sand. It's just got a shingle. This is fluorescent coral red. I like it. Just going to put a little bit of that in here so there's not quite so much white. Anyway, I do this, I talk about one thing, then switch to something else in a flash. So my goal here was to try out this composition, and I think I've succeeded in figuring out what works. I think I need a couple more leaves over here. I need probably a leaf here. And maybe just some trailing tendrils. This one looks okay. Something like that. Just for balance. Please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell and get the notifications. Also, I'd love it if you'd leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.